There's something happening that no one is telling you, but you've already started feeling it deep in your soul. A restlessness, a shift in the air, a sense that the whole world has tuned into a different frequency. And you're starting to notice it in the details, in the coincidences that have become routine, in thoughts that manifest too quickly, in the feeling that everything is connected by invisible threads. But what if I told you this isn't just in your head? What if I showed you that Carl Jung predicted this exact phenomenon decades ago, long before the internet, algorithms, or the new age talk? Yes, what you're experiencing now has a name, a root, and an explanation. Most people will still say it's just coincidence. But you, if you've made it this far, you're not most people. You're feeling the synchronicities multiply. You're waking up from dreams filled with symbolic messages. You're sensing that something much greater is moving behind the scenes of your life. And no, this isn't madness or spiritual delusion. It's soul science. Jung called it synchronicity, external events connected to internal states, as if the universe were responding directly to your frequency. And if your frequency has shifted, then everything around you begins to shift too, including what you attract, perceive, and experience. In this video, you're going to understand why so many things feel strangely connected lately, and why this is just the beginning. You'll discover the invisible symptoms of awakening, the real reason behind your new sensations, and, most importantly, how to align your energy to turn synchronicity into direction. Because the moment you begin to understand the signs, everything stops feeling like chaos and starts to make sense. And by the end of this video, the question that will echo inside you is, will you keep ignoring the signs, or will you learn to decode them? Some people have been feeling a strange restlessness, as if the world shifted gears and no one gave them a heads up. A kind of vibrational heartbeat in the air, like the earth itself is whispering something deep into the consciousness of those who are paying attention. This change isn't theoretical. It's sensory, and you're not the only one sensing it. People all over the world are reporting the same thing. Vivid dreams, more frequent déjà vus, synchronicities that are almost eerie. Coincidence? Carl Jung would definitely say no. What's happening is an invisible reset, a frequency elevation that's pushing each of us out of our comfort zone and straight into the heart of a deep spiritual journey. So how does this show up in everyday life? Suddenly, you feel a strong urge to distance yourself from certain environments, start questioning the meaning of your work, or simply lose interest in empty conversations. You could be in line at the bank and suddenly hear someone say exactly what you were thinking at breakfast. These kinds of cosmic accidents are becoming more common. It's as if the universe is shortening the time between cause and effect, so you'll wake up faster. And the curious part? The more you resist it, the more intense it becomes, like trying to sleep in a room where an alarm is going off. Eventually, you have no choice but to get up. And maybe that's exactly why so many people feel like life has lost its old meaning. That's because the old meaning has been dissolved. The planet's frequency no longer sustains certain patterns, and as a result, certain people, habits, and even thoughts begin to fall apart. The problem is, no one ever taught us how to deal with this. But when you begin to pay attention to the signs, and especially to the synchronicities, you realize there's a new language being spoken all around you. A silent language that doesn't need words. But ironically, Carl Jung translated it decades ago, and that's exactly what we need to talk about now. Carl Jung wasn't just a brilliant psychoanalyst. He was a visionary who looked at the soul the way others gaze at the sky, searching for hidden constellations. When he spoke about synchronicity, he wasn't describing mysticism, but a law of reality as real as gravity. He noticed that certain external events connect with internal states so precisely, it would be madness to call them coincidences. According to him, when the collective soul boils, the universe responds with symbolic patterns. And guess what? That's exactly what's been happening lately. The frequency has shifted, and with it, the signs are showing up everywhere, like codes waiting to be translated. For Jung, the collective unconscious is a shared field among all of humanity, and it stirs when major transitions are about to occur. Just look around. Crises, climate shifts, technology dismantling old systems, and suddenly waves of people reporting the same dreams, the same numbers, the same sensations. It's like the entire planet is engaged in a silent conversation. Jung knew that in these moments, synchronicities become more noticeable. Not because they're new, but because you begin to vibrate at the frequency needed to perceive what was always there, hidden in the noise of routine. And if you think about it, this new frequency almost demands attention. It's like a spiritual megaphone, amplifying everything you feel, everything you think, everything you attract. Jung foresaw this. He said that what you don't bring into consciousness returns as fate. In other words, either you become aware of synchronicities, or you'll be swept away by them, stuck in the same cycles, not knowing why. When he wrote about this, the world didn't even have the internet. There was no real-time exchange of signals. But still, he sensed the human soul was being called to something bigger. And now, that calling has arrived. Some people wake up in the middle of the night without knowing why, heart racing, with an odd sense that something's happening. Others feel a strange exhaustion, even after sleeping well, or a kind of emotional sensitivity that seems too big for their body. And no, this isn't just stress. It's the direct impact of a vibrational shift that's altering the energetic field around us. When this vibration increases, the body and mind respond, and each reaction is a kind of spiritual notification saying, "You're waking up." Carl Jung would call this a symbolic reaction from the collective unconscious during a deep psychic transition. Anxiety with no clear cause, the urge to isolate, a sudden desire to radically change your life. These are recurring signs in people adjusting their field to the new frequency. It's like your old self is being pushed out, while something new is trying to emerge. And no, it's not comfortable. Sometimes it feels like everything's falling apart. But in reality, it's the old frequency breaking down. What can you do in this moment? Practice silence. Yes, sitting in silence for a few minutes each day, away from screens and noise, is one of the most powerful remedies to help your body recalibrate its energy. And there are people who think they're going crazy because they've started noticing too many coincidences. Repeating numbers, unexpected encounters, strangers saying things that answer their private questions. This isn't madness, it's synchronicity. And if this is happening to you, know this: it's not random. The new frequency is pulling you into a zone of deeper alignment, where your decisions, thoughts, and emotions start creating nearly instant effects. It's as if life is responding with less delay. The morphogenetic field becomes more sensitive, and every intention echoes like a signal into the universe. But have you learned to interpret those signals yet? There are moments in life when things happen with such precision, they feel scripted by some invisible intelligence. You think of someone and they text you. You dream of a symbol, and the next day, it appears on a billboard. These aren't just coincidences. They're synchronicities, and each one carries a hidden invitation, an invitation to step out of autopilot and start living with more awareness. Carl Jung said, synchronicities are bridges between the inner and outer world, and that by recognizing them, we expand our perception of reality. The problem is, most people treat these signs as curiosities, when in truth, they're codes. Spiritual codes that require interpretation, attention, and, most importantly, action. If you keep seeing 1111, for example, it's time to pause and reflect. What are you thinking about right now? What decision needs to be made? This isn't social media numerology, it's the universe trying to schedule a meeting with you. And the more you raise your frequency, the more frequent and powerful these synchronicities become. It's like tuning into a radio station that plays the music of your soul. Ignoring a synchronicity is like ignoring your GPS when it tells you there's a faster route. You can keep going the old way, but it'll take longer, and you might get lost. These signs are the universe's gentle or not so gentle push toward your true path. And some people receive so many that they start to panic. Am I going crazy? No, you're waking up. Consciousness is expanding and reality is responding. That's why, more than ever, it's essential to learn how to recognize these messages, and more importantly, how to respond to them in practice. The truth is, it's not enough to sense that something is changing in your life. You have to choose whether you'll move with that change or resist it. Aligning your energy with the new frequency has nothing to do with magic formulas and everything to do with small conscious decisions in your daily life. Start with meditation. 5 minutes of silence each day, fully focused on your breath, is enough to recalibrate your energetic field. Use sound frequencies like 432 Hz or 963 Hz. While you do this, they're like vibrational vitamins for the soul. This opens inner space, clears mental noise, and helps you hear what you've been missing. Another simple, yet powerful step is a digital detox. Turning off your phone for just 1 hour a day is a revolutionary act in today's world. This tech silence brings your attention back to the present moment, where synchronicities happen. I also recommend starting an intuitive journaling practice. Write down anything symbolic, strange, or emotionally intense you noticed during your day. It could be a number, a phrase, a feeling. Over time, you'll see patterns emerge, and those patterns are like arrows pointing toward where your consciousness needs to go. Jung believed writing reveals the unconscious, and in this case, it also reveals the path. And of course, take care of your energy as if you were nurturing a rare plant. Avoid heavy environments, people who drain your light, and content that lowers your vibration. Surround yourself with materials that nourish your soul. Books like The Power of Now, Man and His Symbols, or biographies of people who've gone through major spiritual awakenings. The more you immerse yourself in high vibrational elements, the more elevated synchronicities you'll attract. And when that happens, life stops feeling like a random string of events and starts becoming a narrative with purpose. And speaking of narratives, it's time we understand why Carl Jung foresaw all of this long before it became a trend. Now tell me, after everything you've heard here, are you still going to treat these experiences as mere coincidences? Will you keep ignoring the signs the universe is putting right in front of you, thinking it's all in your head? Or will you finally accept that something much greater is moving behind every detail, and that you've been chosen to awaken to this new reality? Because now you know, every synchronicity on your path is an invitation to move beyond the surface and dive into a deeper level of consciousness. So answer me in the comments. What was the most powerful sign you've ever received? What number, dream, or feeling has stuck with you without explanation? What pattern did you notice in today's video? And most importantly, what are you going to do about it? Will you apply it or let it pass? Because when you write, you activate, and when you share, you inspire others going through the same process, but who haven't figured out what's happening yet. Sometimes your comment is the exact key someone else needs to awaken. And if this video stirred something in you, if deep down you felt something click, something shift inside, don't let it fade. Subscribe to the channel now, turn on notifications, and keep walking this path with us. Here, every video is another step toward understanding your soul. And if you found this content meaningful, share it with someone else who needs to wake up too. Because when one awakens, many awaken.